Hi students, welcome back. Now let's go through the remaining portions of the chapter. What does diversity add to our lives? Just like Sami Rekhe and Sami Dio become friends, you might have friends who are very different from you. You have probably eaten different kinds of food in their homes, celebrated different festivals with them, tried out the clothes they wear and learned some of their languages as well. So far we have discussed about the diversities regarding caste, food, festivals and even the clothes. These diversities are known to make group within the society. One can also participate in other people's festivals, isn't it? You probably like reading and hearing stories and adventures about different animals, people and even ghosts. Perhaps you even enjoy making up stories yourself. Many young people feel happy when they read a good story because it gives them loads of ideas to make up more stories. People who write stories get their ideas from all sorts of different places, from books and real life and from their imagination. Some may have lived in forests close to animals and chosen to write of their fights and friendships. Others read real accounts of kings and queens and wrote stories about love and honor. Some dipped into their own childhood memories of school and friends and wrote stories of adventure. Imagine if all the storytellers and writers that you have heard and read so far were forced to live in a place where all people wore the same two colors, red and white, ate the same food, maybe potatoes, took care of the same two animals, for example the deer and the cat, and to entertain themselves played snakes and ladders. What kind of stories do you think they would write? So we all like to hear stories. Some like adventure stories about plants, animals, people, ghosts, etc. For a good story, the writer should live in the surrounding of his or her story characters. Then only we will get a good story with a different subject. So diversities are necessary to make a good story also. So moving on to our next topic, diversity in India. India is a country of many diversities. We speak different languages, have various types of food, celebrate different festivals, practice different religions, but actually if you think about it, we do many things that are similar except that we do them in different ways. So let's discuss about the diversity in India. As we all know, India is a country with wide diversities. We speak different languages, eat different types of food, celebrate different festivals, practice different religions. So we all do many things, but in a different way that of others. How do we explain diversity? A little more than 200 years ago or long before the train, aeroplane, bus or car became a part of our life, people traveled from one part of the world to another in ships, on horses, on camels or on foot. So in ancient times, we traveled in ships, horses, camels or foot. But nowadays we use cars, bus, aeroplane, etc. Isn't it? Often they went in search of new lands or new places to settle in and or for people to trade with. And because it took so long to travel, once they go to a place, people stayed there, often for a long time. Many others left their homes because there were famines and drought and they could not get enough to eat. Some went in search of work while others left because there was a war. So the people has traveled in search of new lands, new places to settle and also for people to trade. Many have traveled in search of new places because of droughts, famine or lack of food. Similarly, some people have traveled in search of a work and many have traveled in because of a war. Okay, so there were different reasons for people to travel. Sometimes as they began to make their homes in new places, people began to change a little and at other times they managed to do things in the old ways. So their languages, food, music, religions become a mix of the old and the new, and out of this intermixing of cultures came something new and different. The history of many places shows us how many different cultural influences have helped to shape life and culture there. Thus, regions become very diverse because of their unique histories. Similarly, diversity also comes about when people adapt their lives to the geographical area in which they live. For example, living near the sea is quite different from living in a mountainous area. So, as the people settled in new places, their languages, food, music, religions got mixed with both these old and new traditions. Thus, here seems to be an intermixing of cultures. So, as they change the place, their cultural backgrounds has been changed. Thus, their diversities will also change according to the geographical and as well as the history of the place to which they are adapted. Not only do people have different clothing and eating habits, but even the kinds of work they do are different. In cities, it is often easy to forget how closely people's lives are tied to their physical surroundings. This is because in the city, people seldom grow their own vegetables and grain. Instead, they depend on the market to buy all the food and other goods that they need. So, the work done by people were also different. In cities, people depend upon the markets for food, whereas in villages, the people are bonded by the growth of vegetables and grains. Let us try to understand what we mean when we say that historical and geographical factors influence the diversity of a region. We can do this by reading about life in two different parts of the country, Kerala and Ladakh. So now let's discuss more about the geographical and historical factors that influence this diversity of our country. Let's discuss about Ladakh and Kerala. Ladakh is a desert in the mountains in the eastern part of the Jammu and Kashmir. Very little agriculture is possible here since this region does not receive any rain and is covered in snow for a large part of the year. There are very few trees that can grow in the region. For drinking water, people depend on the melting snow during the summer months. So, Ladakh is a desert. It is located in Jammu and Kashmir. Here the agriculture activities are very less because this place receives very little rainfall and are also covered by snow. So for drinking water, these people have to take the snow and have to melt it, especially during the summer time. People here keep sheep and goats. The goats in this region are special because they produce pashmina wool. This wool is priced and pashmina shawls cost a lot of money. The people in Ladakh carefully collect the wool of the goats and sell this to the traders from Kashmir. Pashmina shawls are chiefly woven in Kashmir. So here the people of Ladakh are mainly engaged in rearing animals like sheep and goat. These goats produce pashmina wool. This wool is very expensive. People in Ladakh will collect the wool from these goats and sell it to the traders of Kashmir. They weave this wool into pashmina shawls. So these pashmina shawls are also very expensive. The people eat meat and milk products like cheese and butter. Each family owns some goats, cows and does, that is yak cows. Being a desert did not mean that Ladakh did not attract its share of traders. It was considered a good trade route as it had many passes through, which caravans traveled to what is today called Tibet. These caravans carried textiles and spices, raw silk and carpets. So here in Ladakh, the people are mainly depending upon animals such as goat, cow and does for their meat and milk. So here the main food items are meat and milk products such as cheese and butter, and also for trade also they collect these goats wool and sell it to the traders of Kashmir. So they are very expensive wool. Okay, so for their living and also for a food they are using these animals, and also this place is a trade route. From here the goods are collected and collected in a caravan and travelled to Tibet. So these caravans carried textiles, spices, rose silk, carpet, etc. from this place. So it is such a good trade route. Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. Ladakh is also called a Little Tibet. Islam was introduced in this region more than 400 years ago, and there is a significant Muslim population here. Ladakh has a very rich oral tradition of songs and poems. Local versions of the Tibetan national epic, the Kesa Saga, are performed and sung by both Muslims and Buddhists. So, it's also through this Ladakh Buddhism has reached Tibet. And similarly, the Ladakh is also known as Little Tibet. And also Islam was introduced into this region almost 400 years ago. So Ladakh has also Muslim population. So there are many oral traditions for these people in Ladakh for their songs and poem. And also this national epic in Tibetan, the Kesa Saga, is performed and sung by both Muslims and Buddhists. So there are Buddhists and Muslims in the place called Ladakh. So students, we will discuss the remaining portion of the chapter in next video. All of you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you will get the notification of next video. See you soon. Thank you.